Hi, this is Mike from Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and on today's video we'll be taking a look at the Akasa Soho H4. Something a little bit special. Keep watching to find out more. Okay, so in today's video we'll be taking a look at Akasa Soho H4. This is a premium mid to high-end cooler for CPUs of the Intel or AMD variety, covering a whole range of different sockets. So what is the Soho H4? Well, this is a new cooler from our friends over at Akasa. This has actually been sent to us free of charge for review purposes. They haven't asked us to say anything, do anything, just literally take it, try it, see what we think, and report back our findings and just give an honest review. That's exactly what we're going to do today, and recently we've been testing a whole bunch of coolers, so this is actually a really good time. This actually, price-wise at the moment, you're looking at somewhere in the region of about £40, depending where you're shopping. So it's not a budget cooler as such, but it's not a premium cooler. But certainly it does have some premium features, which we'll be taking a look at. So price-wise, again, there will be links in the video description so you can see the price in your local area. Prices, like everything, do fluctuate. So yeah, this may or may not have changed by the time you're actually watching this. So first of all, let's take some notes off the actual packaging itself, and I'll give you some close-ups for this. So it is a premium CPU cooler with addressable RGB. So we have got an addressable RGB fan on the front here, which is actually one of the fans which we reviewed before, which is the Soho AR from the kit. Check out the review up there. Also, if you want to, you can add one of these fans to the existing fan which is included. They do include mounting kits, so you can set this up as a dual fan setup. Obviously that's going to increase the price, but maybe if you're buying these and you're buying this to all group together to make it all look nice together, then certainly that is a possibility. Like I said, the clips are included in the packaging should you wish to mount a fan or another one of these fans. You can mount other 120mm fans should you wish to. I guess it would be nice to keep them all the same in the design scheme of things. Anyway, back to the packaging. So as it says there on the bottom, it supports various types of addressable RGB. So it's the traditional 3-pin 5V addressable RGB, the likes that you're going to see on things like MSI, Gigabyte, Asus, ASRock. Did I say ASRock? MSI, Gigabyte, yeah. The usual suspects. BioStar should be on there as well because they use the same one, but they're not listed. But yeah, it will work on BioStar boards as well. Basically anything with that 3-pin 5V addressable RGB header, which you're probably seeing a close-up of right now on your screen. So it's got a unique cover, which we should take a look at. Actually, it is very unique. So this top cover design, you've got the heat pipe cover there, and also you've got the Akasa logo, and also all of this is addressable RGB. Again, you're probably seeing a cutaway of this, seeing it all lit up. Actually, yeah, it's a slightly unusual design. I like to see something a little bit different going on up here. It's so boring just seeing bare metal and all that kind of stuff. So it's nice to see something a little bit different on there. But for those purists out there that don't like a little bit too much RGB, there are actually 4 screws there. They're held on with Torx fittings. Undo those 4 screws and you can take the RGB element of this top part off completely. So if it doesn't float your boat, you can just go back to the bare metal, which is actually finished in a really nice black kind of anodized finish, like a powder coating on there, which looks actually very nice. And even though I've been trying to, I don't appear to be able to scratch it off very easily. So they've done a particularly good job in coating the fins themselves. So lots of options in that respect. And the adjustable RGB bit, because it is separate, is actually on a separate cable, which again is the 3-pin 5V addressable RGB. So again, if you don't want to use it, you can just unscrew it, take it off, or you can add it all together. There is included in the kit a splitter cable. So if you've only got a single header on your motherboard, that'll take a single output on a motherboard and split it into 4. So you can plug in 4 devices on that. And these have got little plastic covers on them to prevent any damage to components should they try and short out or touch on anything. So awesome stuff. Cooler wise, you've got 4 heat pipes on there, again coated in this really nice, I guess it's almost like an enamel type finish. It's a really nice finish on there. You've got 4 6mm heat pipes on there, which are U-shaped. At the bottom, you've got a really nice cold flat plate with the exposed heat pipes. So, and the mounting system we've got on here does look to be absolutely brilliant. So there is a solid piece of metal. It looks like it's steel. I'm not entirely sure if it is, but it looks like it's a very strong metal. It doesn't want to bend or move or anything. So that's solid all the way across. So that's going to give you some really nice even mounting pressure across your CPU. And there's just 2 screws on the sides to actually tighten it all up. So it makes installation extremely easy. Talking of making things extremely easy, it does have spring clips, like I said before, but they're super easy to put on. You're not going to risk any damaged nails or anything. They are all held on very lightly. and extremely easy to take off, and also extremely easy to put back on, he says. Trying to do it on a funny angle, but there we go, simple. Even doing it on camera, it goes on first time. Absolutely brilliant. And of course, because it is these spring clips, you do have that level of adjustment there. So if you've got some particularly tall RAM, then you could do some crazy stuff with the fan and kind of mount it right up here, and it holds on. It will still work. Looks a little bit strange, but certainly it will work. So complete adjustment on the top and bottom there for various types of RAM. And actually, if we take this off, take a closer look at the fins themselves. You see there's a really nice design. Again, it's all blacked out really nicely. No scratches at all. And I've been playing with this for a little while today, and I don't appear to be able to mark it, which actually I should try. I'm going to try and scratch some of it on the bottom. And yeah, really scratching it, I've made a very small mark in the paintwork there. So yeah, very tough finish on there. It's not going to come off very easily. I had to really dig at that to get it off. Same with the fins themselves. The fins are really strong. Quite often with these types of coolers, when you're messing around with them, unboxing, taking pictures, B-roll, all that kind of stuff, they have a tendency for these to bend a little bit, but actually they do seem to be very strong and actually quite a thick metal. I'm not too sure what the thickness would be, but yeah, they do seem to be thicker than what we're normally used to. So hopefully that's going to give a little bit more of a thermal mass to the cooler, and hopefully it should give us some pretty decent results, as we'll see a little bit later on in the video. So anyway, like I said, yeah, you can take that top off if you want to, single cable for that. Really nice mounting mechanism on the bottom. The fan is, again, like I said, one of the Soho AR fans. Premium fan, nice weight to it. All the things like the rubber mountings on the side to keep the noise and vibrations down. The fan itself, as we've seen with those, comes in the normal thing. So you've got a 4-pin PWM, RPM range between 500 and 2000 RPM, but exceptionally quiet. Even at the higher rating up there, 2000 RPM, just about audible. You can hear air moving through it. There's not a great deal you can do about air moving, but the fan blades themselves, the fan itself, the operation of the motor, etc., yeah, essentially pretty much silent. RGB wise, again, usual deal, got to say it again, this is 3-pin 5V addressable RGB, so yep, you do need a header on your board or some kind of controller. That's pretty much it for the fan. Not really much else I can say apart from they're very good quality fans. I like them a lot. So when it comes to mounting kits, let's take a look at the mounting kits and see what the options are here. If you're looking at the picture now and you see it slightly different, it's because we've had a little bit of a cat accident. Our kitten went a little bit crazy with small parts, so we'll start this part again. So we've got two sections. We've got the AM4 section on this side, which is yeah, super simple. I absolutely adore this setup. It's great. On this side, we've got the Intel setup. So there's a combination of parts here. You've also got some additional parts there. So if you're using the LGA2011, then there's a slightly different fitting version with these bars here. But for everyone else, if you're using 115X or LGA1200, then essentially you're going to be using this backplate, which is actually a really nice strong backplate. And essentially you're going to put the covers over the top, put the plastic bits over, then you're going to use these bracket bars, depending on which socket you're on. Again, there's going to be different holes there for the LGA 1200 type fitting and also the LGA 2011 type fitting. Then it's going to be a knurled screw on the top of there. You get the general idea. That is pretty much simple. That's going to give you your brackets ready for the cooler to go on the top of. When it comes to AM4, which is what we'll be showing you very shortly, then this is, yeah, absolute child's play. So using the AM4 backplate, all you need to do is take off the two plastic kind of lugs which are on the top part of the motherboard, leave the backplate in position. Then all you're going to need to do is to put these little black plastic pieces over each one of the 4 screws. With these screws, all you're going to do is grab these brackets. These are the ones with the dog leg on them, and literally just put the screw down through. Then that is going to go through the plastic as well into the backplate. Very similar to Noctua's mounting system and various other manufacturers. A lot of people are coming around to using this kind of method. It does seem to be the preferable way of doing it. I've installed quite a few coolers over the years, and the AM4 mounting system is getting to the point now where it's actually becoming a very kind of easy thing to do and very simplified. It's got much better. We've gone from the old spring clips, which are horrendous in most cases, but to this kind of installation now is very easy to do, even if the motherboard's in a vertical position, and that is actually how we'll be installing this. later on in the PC, just to show you how easy it actually can be in a motherboard in situ in a PC case. So that's it in terms of the unboxing and everything that's in the kit. I think a good idea now would be to get rid of all this on the desk. We'll get the PC up on here, and then we'll show you how to install it, and then after that we can do some benchmarks, do some testing, and then we'll come back to you at the very end with the results and also my final thoughts. Okay, so here is our donor PC. So this is my Ryzen 9 3900. This is on a MSI B550 Gaming Edge Wi-Fi, and you can see the processor in there. What I've already done, because it's mounted upright, I've got one of the screws in already and one of the dog legs attached on this side. So what we're going to need to do is go ahead and do the rest of them. Now this is actually a good way of doing it. If you're mounting one of these upright, if you do it, basically I took out my Noctua cooler, keeping the back plate in place. As long as you get one of these secured, it will hold in place really nicely. And if you don't tighten this up fully, what you can do is then you can get your little plastic spacer, stick it over the top there, then move your bracket back over into the right position, and basically it's not going to go anywhere. So then what you can do is you can grab one of your screws, which look a lot like this, and put this in. So put it in through, and then you can fully tighten it. When it gets to the end and it doesn't want to go any further, just give it a tiny little cinch and just make sure it's tight. And we'll do the same on the bottom one now. There we go. Very tiny little adjustment there, just to give it that little bit of extra tightness. So what we're doing is, so we've got one of these brackets, which is rather reflective in this light. We've got our little spacer and we've got our screw. So what you want to do is get the spacer and put it over the top of one of the screw holes. Now, because obviously this is upright, it doesn't want to stay in place. So what we're going to do is we're going to get our section here, have it so that the threaded bar here is facing outward, as you can see there, rather than it being on the underside, because otherwise you won't have anywhere to attach your cooler. So we're going to put the screw through first of all, and then I'm going to put the spacer over the back there. You'll see there's a little bit of thread just exposed there, and that should be enough for us to get it started at the bottom here. A couple of turns by hand, and then we can grab the screwdriver and tighten up the rest of the way almost. So get it tight up, then loosen off slightly, just so you've got a little bit of wiggle room there. Then you can grab the last of the black spacers, put it over, and then move the bar back across. Then we get our last screw and fire that one in. There we go. So that is what you want to be left with. Just make sure these screws are done up tightly. This is a really, really good mounting mechanism. I really do like the way this works. Next thing we want to do is we're going to put some heat paste on. Now, Akasa do actually provide you in the kit with some of their thermal compounds. So this is the Pro Grade Plus. This is the AKT565, 1 gram. So you do have that included. For this particular instance, I'm going to be using MX5 for no other reason than the fact that my previous cooler was used with that. The coolers before were used with that, and in order to keep all the temperatures as close as we can, that is going to be the best way. If we start using a different thermal compound now, it's going to throw the results right out. Before installing, making sure you remove this, otherwise your temperatures will be pretty bloody awful. So now what we need to do is to basically line up this screw here and this screw here with that pole there and the one on the other side as well. So I'm actually going to do one side first. So holding that a little bit, all I'm going to do is just loosen the screw off and tighten it back up again. There we go, to fill the notch. A couple of turns, and then we're going to head over onto the other side, match that up. Yep, that's started going in. So just a few turns, and then do a kind of crisscross setup. And do that just until the screws stop, they won't go any further. Give it a little wiggle just to make sure it's all in place. Next thing we want to do is I'm going to pass the cable through. So this is for our addressable RGB. So I'm going to pass this through to the back because it's actually going to go into a control hub rather than directly to the motherboard. So I'm just going to pass that through. Just keep that out of the way for a while. And the next thing to do is to grab the fan. So ideally you want these two wires to be coming out the very bottom. I'm just going to line up the unit on there with the top of the fan just on line, or in line rather, with the rest of the cooler, just to make it look neat. And push the spring clips in, and that is it, we're done. That was very simple. And going to plug in our PWM connection and also pass through our other RGB cable into the back. So that's run through, and plug in our CPU connector onto the top of the motherboard. We can tidy up the wiring, but essentially that is it. That is the job done. So now we're going to get it fired up, do some temperature tests, and then we'll come back with my final thoughts. Okay, so we're back and the testing has been completed, and we have been comparing the NHU12S with the new Akasa Soho H4. I really do struggle with that name for some reason, I don't know why, but anyway. The testing actually, if you don't want to watch the rest of the video and you just want to know, is basically this a addressable RGB version of this, but cheaper? Essentially, yes, it is. The results are extremely close. So first of all, let's take a look at the Cinebench results. So this is Cinebench R23, and as you can see from the results, it looks like a massive difference, but in fact it isn't. It's almost kind of run-to-run errors. I did do it a few times, but we ended up with 18279 for the Soho H4, and the Noctua NHU12S, we've got 18225. So these are pretty much the results I would have expected from the processor and also from the various tests we've done previously. I have done it a couple of times just to make sure, and every single time, yeah, they were pretty much identical, although the Soho did actually have slightly better scores, although it's extremely small margin. Where it does get slightly more interesting, or potentially not interesting, is when we look at the temperatures. So let's look at the slide with the temperatures on. So basically, even though the graphs are there, they both did pretty much identical. So we're looking somewhere in the region of about 35 degrees as a idle temperature, although the Soho did come in slightly less at 34.4 against the Noctua's 35. Again, between the two runs, the time it took me to install changes in room temperature, very slight. That could have had a slight impact, but effectively, in terms of idle speeds, the lowest recorded idle speeds, yeah, identical, no differences at all. Looking at the high temperatures, again, yeah, it's no surprise whatsoever. They both performed pretty much identically. Although we did find that the Noctua did edge it out ever so slightly by about half a degree. So essentially there is nothing in them. So in order to kind of wrap things up, essentially, if you want the performance of the NHU12S, but you also want a little bit of addressable RGB, and potentially want to save a few quid depending where in the world you live, then the Soho S4 is pretty much the way to go. The downsides being, obviously, Noctua being Noctua, this is their business. Cooling fans, heat sinks, etc. So when it comes to future-proofing your investment, potentially you're going to get a better deal with the Noctua. I think that's pretty much a given. Akasa themselves, a slightly smaller company, and they do diversify into other product ranges, so they're not wholly centered on the heatsink and fan market, although they do quite a few things. So in terms of actually getting spares, replacements, and longevity of the item, potentially this could be something which is completely forgotten in a few years' time, whereas Noctua obviously are renowned for their longevity and their support system. So ultimately it's going to come down to other things. So temperature-wise, we can see essentially exactly the same. In terms of installation, again, there's very, very little between them. I would say pretty much identical, as you've seen from the installation video, and also if you know the two coolers, yeah, I would say they're identical. There's no real difference on there. I wouldn't say one is any easier than the other. Noise-wise, that is going to come into consideration. Now, because the Noctua has a top speed of 1500 RPM on this fan, and these are somewhere in the region of about 2100, there is definitely a little bit more noise at the highest end on this particular unit. Now, whether or not that is down to the actual heatsink fins being slightly thicker and a slight resistance. Potentially that could be down to it. I'm not an acoustics engineer, so I couldn't answer that one way or the other. But certainly at the very, very top end, when they're both at 100% fan, the Soho is definitely louder. So if noise is something that you're considering over things like addressable RGB, then obviously the Noctua is the way to go. So to wrap things up, yeah, there's not a great deal between them. Pricing is obviously going to be dependent on your region. At the moment, here in the UK, this is somewhere in the region of about £55–60. This is in the region of about £45–50. So yeah, there is a potential saving there. Of course, obviously, both of them, you can install additional fans should you wish to. The clips are included, etc. This obviously has an absolute abundance of addressable RGB. So if addressable RGB is your thing, which I know from your feedback in the comments, a lot of you do really appreciate the addressable RGB and RGB lighting styles, then obviously, yeah, this is the clear winner. But that's not important. What is important is what you guys think. So please do let us know what you think in the comments section below. Personally, for me, I think between the two, I'm going to stick with the NHU12S as my daily driver because I've done most of my testing and it's really good that I can see the differences, although in this case, there were virtually no differences whatsoever. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments section below. In the meantime, I've been Mike. This is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll catch you in the very next video. Thanks for watching.